Hi everybody, and welcome back to What's It About? This is that Wednesday series where we look at different things in our faith, or our religion, or our spirituality. We talk about why we do them and what they teach us, what they help us do to grow closer to God. So today's episode I'm really excited about. Today I want to talk about icons. Icons, like on your computer desktop, click. No. Icon, the English word, derives from the Greek word that means image. And so what I have behind me here on what I call my little icon corner, or my icon wall, are a collection of paintings that we call icons. Now, icons are pretty unusual in the Western world, the Roman Catholic world, especially the Protestant world, right? We don't see these often in Methodism or other Protestant denominations. This is a resource or a living, breathing spiritual tool for us from the Orthodox faith. Now, the earliest sort of split of the church really was between the churches that were centered in Rome and then the churches that were centered on the eastern side of the Roman Empire in what was then Constantinople. And so we have two sort of early ancient Christian churches that still are both around. And the Orthodox Church, which started in the eastern part, but has since returned to the entirety of the world, thanks be to God, still practices this form of prayer through icons. So icons, they're just images, right? There's nothing magic or special. It's a wooden board, it's some gesso, it's some paint, we use brushes, very normal things that we use as what the Orthodox refer to as a window into heaven. I love that. So these are kind of little portholes to see not just a representation of a person, but a way that we can spiritually interact with these stories from our faith and from the Bible, our ancestors. I want to point out just a few of my collection, which is a small collection compared to some of my Orthodox Christian siblings. Most of these are representative of biblical saints. So we've got Mary Magdalene, special Mary Magdalene note. This icon itself was written for me by a former parishioner. Her name is Judy, and Judy is an excellent iconographer. And we found each other and we share this love for icons. And so she knows how much Mary Magdalene means to me. And I love the story of faith that she tells, the apostle to the apostles. So she wrote this icon for me as a gift. Mary Magdalene. We've got the Blessed Virgin holding baby Jesus. This is an icon of the Transfiguration. So you can see Jesus and Moses and Elijah up on the mountain. This icon is of Jesus, and it's called Christ the Pantocrator, or the ruler of all. This is a less traditional icon. This comes from St. Meinrad Archabbey in Indiana, of the crucifixion. A little bit different style, but you can see how it's still kind of, in the icon family. St. Cecilia, this is one of, I believe, two up here who are not in the Bible. St. Cecilia is considered to be the patron saint of music. And if you know me, you know I'm a musician, and so Cecilia means a lot to me in my spiritual life. I'm going to skip this one for a moment. Of course, we've got the Last Supper. We've got Jesus the bridegroom. And then we've got a representation of a story from Genesis where Abraham meets three strangers and shares a meal with them. And this was painted by a Russian artist named Rublev, who saw this as a representation of the Holy Trinity. So the one that I did skip, this is Susanna Wesley, who, if you know, in our faith tradition, John and Charles Wesley were the founders of the Methodist discipline, and their mother, Susanna Wesley, taught them most of what they know spiritually, how to read the Bible and pray. So Susanna Wesley instilled a lot of spiritual disciplines in John and Charles that we still practice today in Methodism. I actually wrote this icon. I'm not a professional by any means, but I wrote this when I was in seminary as a devotional tool for sort of drawing in some of our newer saints, if you will, Susanna Wesley and John and Charles, into sort of the canon of historical spiritual practices. So I did that one, and it's not perfect, but I love knowing that Susanna is here in the office with me most days. I want to make two distinctions about icons before we finish up today, though. The first is that we don't paint an icon. True, we are using paint on a brush, on a board, but the verb that we use is not painting, we say we're writing. Remember that To Orthodox faithful, and those of us who enjoy praying with them, icons are a prayer. They're a way for us to see into the lives or the events of our faith. And so we write icons and hope that they're more devotional rather than painting, which could be a little aesthetic, right? We see a representation. The other piece is that Orthodox faithful do not worship icons. There is no worship of the picture or the image or the wood or the paint. That's not what we do. And we're not even worshiping the people in it, right? Worship is ascribed to God and to God alone. So we worship God, but we venerate icons. We venerate these images of our faith and of our ancestors in faith to remember and recall what we learned from them and how to live every day growing closer to God. So I hope that you spend some time exploring icons. There are many, many icons out there for you to look at. You could just do a quick internet search and you can find all sorts of information about icons. Colors that represent different things, shapes, styles, postures. The world of icons is endless. So I hope that this interests you just a little bit and you dig in and find out what icons mean to our Orthodox siblings, as well as how we can use them in our own faith. Have a great week, and I hope to see you this weekend.